There you go. Who's that?
Now get the latest on the pandemic and the race to vaccinate the most vulnerable. The CDC reports that over 38 million people have gotten at least one dose, almost 12% of our population. But demand is outpacing supply as FEMA opens new vaccination centers across the country. Kaylee Hartung is tracking it all from LA. Good morning, Kaylee.
Hey, good morning, George. Here in East LA, this is a community that's been devastated by COVID-19. You have a lot of predominantly Latino neighborhoods here. It's an area that's underserved by health resources. So that makes it a particularly good fit for FEMA to open one of its first mass vaccination sites in the country here. And starting today, right here at this site, eligible people can walk up, they can drive up. They say pretty soon they'll be vaccinating 6,000 people a day. This morning, a potential game changer in the race to vaccinate, as the federal government opens its first mass vaccination sites in California. Active duty service members from the U.S. Army and National Guard now working 7 days a week on the campus of Cal State University in East Los Angeles and at the Oakland Coliseum to support the FEMA-run operation.
The U.S. military has a lot of medical professionals who can administer this vaccine in a very quick amount of time.
Officials say both of the California sites will be allotted 42,000 vaccines a week by the federal government. These mega sites, part of President Biden's pandemic response plan that aims to make the vaccine widely available by spring.
The plan is to open 100 vaccination sites in 100 days.
In Texas, 3 more of these federal sites are expected to open next week, and FEMA is still searching for more potential locations across the country. But as more sites open up and more people become eligible, the vaccine supply can't keep up with demand. Dodger Stadium forced to temporarily shut down its vaccination site over the weekend. And in San Francisco, sites closing for at least a week, leaving some desperate to get appointments for loved ones.
I'm like, I'll get him anywhere. Where would there be an opening? And then she said, honestly, there are no openings.
The vaccine rollout also in a race against those contagious variants that appear to chip away at the effectiveness of the vaccines. A case of the South African COVID variant now confirmed in a patient from Connecticut, hospitalized in New York City. And governors across the country seem to be just as confused as the rest of us with the vaccine distribution process. The National Governors Association has written a letter to President Biden saying that the way that the CDC is reporting the number of vaccine doses that have been delivered versus the number administered has created unnecessary confusion. They are urging better and clearer communications.
Well, hey there, GMA
fan. Hey, Shalom, Shalom. We the Brothers of Great Millstone Church here in Birmingham, Alabama. And as always, want to begin by giving all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, by Hashem, Yahweh Shah, by Hashem, the Kodash. Double honors to our teachers, the head apostles, and elders of Great Millstone. Shalom, you brothers out there laboring in this work. And as always, you believe it's the icon as well as the aqua that's described in this truth as well. So yeah, this lesson right here is going to be obviously centered around the opening clip, which pretty much captured the desperation of Esau, and in that clip, it featured that desperation pretty much transitioning into rap. He had to talk of the military, man, Well, that's nothing more than a fulfillment of biblical prophecy. And in particular, the book of Revelation, the 12th chapter, the 12th verse, where it tells you how this man would come down with great wrath because he knew that he had but a short time. A time to what? A time to rule. See, what you people gonna find out is that this book in the very core of it centers around rulerships. That's why you got to remember when our Lord Yahweh Shai sent the disciples forth, he commanded them what? Preach that the kingdom is at hand. See that? So that's at the forefront of this ministry. You know, this thing is biblical timelines based upon the rise and fall of the kingdom. All right? And matter of fact, real quick, give me the said measure.
Con. Yep, this is second Ezra 4 and 37. It said, by measure have he measured the times.
Right, meaning the Lord gave each and every particular nation, for the most part, a time to rule. He gave them a measured time. He rationed them out a portion of time to rule. Right? Go ahead.
It said, and by number have he numbered the times.
Mm-hmm.
He doth not move. It's like it said, and he doth not move nor stir them until the said measure be fulfilled.
Right. So the Lord give you your said time to rule. All right. But Esau, you know, he could feel that time to rule has become short. You know, and how did he know that? Because he believed the report. Whether you people out there are willing to hearken to that idea, but the so-called white man himself, and in particular the elites, they actually hear these words. They hear this report, man. Okay? That's spoken of in Psalms, the 23rd chapter, where it tells you how the Lord will prepare a table for us before our enemies. Meaning these devils is monitoring us. So they know the report, you know. We contributing to that anxiety on the, you know, these devils, so forth, and that desperation. All right, so they watching us. Matter of fact, if you ain't got none, let's go to Wisdom of Solomon, the second chapter.
Yeah, I got some real quick too.
Yeah, go ahead.
Isaiah 13 and 2 said, lift you up a banner upon the high mountain, exalt the voice unto them, shake the hand that they may go into the gates of the nobles.
Right, so this word is accomplishing what it was set out to do. You see men going forth out there on the highways and byways, proclaiming the kingdom of heaven, declaring the kingdom of heaven, and is ushering in. Well, that's actually falling on the ears of the elites. You know, when you go back into ancient Egypt, before the Lord sprung into action concerning our deliverance, what happened? He sent forth Moses and Aaron, and they came in the stead of prophets. But hold up, they went straight to the Pharaoh. You know? So that's what's happening right now. This word is actually falling on the ears of the elites. So that's why you see this swarm of activity taking place. It all goes back to the prophecies. All right? So yeah, you got it up.
Come, we want to start on this.
So like your Wisdom of Solomon, the second chapter?
Yeah, Con.
Yep, you can start at the top.
All right, Con. All right, yeah, this is Wisdom of Solomon 2 and 1. It said, for the ungodly said, reasoning with themselves, but not aright.
Yeah. Right, meaning, you know, these devils actually have think tanks. You know, they gather the troops and they have these secret meetings, man. And believe it or not, those meetings is geared towards Israel. See, you people out there, they don't understand the sense of urgency that comes along with this storyline, man. All right, Esau is running from his destiny. He's running from justice, man. It tells you that in the book of Ezekiel, the 35th chapter, how blood shall pursue thee. All right? So this man, he's pretty much throwing everything in the center of the table. He's exhausting all his resources, his time, money, energy, in effort to try to somehow regain control of the momentum in relation to rulership. Because this man knows that according to the prophecies, that's going to be a rigorous rule. Right? Esau is going to be at the bottom of the bottom, man. All right? They're going to go into captivity. So they're trying to run away from prophecy, you know? They're trying to sidestep the prophecies. So that's why you see this swarm of activity. And again, when the scripture said they're reasoning with themselves, that's in these different meetings where they concoct these elaborate plans to come up against Israel. All right, go ahead.
It says, for the ungodly said, reasoning with themselves, but not aright. Our life is short and tedious.
Yeah, so hey, they can feel time, huh? They can feel that time hovering over their shoulders, man. Yeah. That's why you got these devils coming out talking about some damn They got these designated spots, for you to get maxed up, and you see who was funding it, right? So everything is according to schedule. Everything is going as planned. Hey, Ak, you want to make a point?
Yeah, so like just real quick, like you just back what you just said, they can feel time. They, the Lord, we just read the scripture. He ain't gonna move or stir the times until it's fulfilled. Yeah. So you see, we at the end of this thing, you see the effects of the plucking up. So that's what he feel, man. He's about to be moved out the way.
Yeah, cut. The wall's closing in on that nigga, man. Hey, this is his worst nightmare. Because you remember when you read the book of Revelation 11 chapter, it tells you how great fear fell upon them. When they saw this awakening, when they heard that decree. That's like you get, it's like you haven't paid a bill. All of a sudden you get a bill, then you get another bill. Hey, the bill collectors, they don't lay off your ass. You up to your neck in bills. So you know what that creates that, now you paranoid, like, oh shit, this motherfucker persistent. Well, guess what? That's how these videos going for. These epistles in the form of these videos, these live streams. That's the decree of Yahweh B'Shem Shah. That's that eerie sound that's in his ear, that's dreadful sound, Go ahead, you got it.
It says, our life is short and tedious, and in the death of a man, there is no remedy. Neither was there any man known to have returned from the grave. Right,
and that's parabolic. Okay, someone will read that and say, see, there's no such thing as reincarnation. No, that's concerning, one who's taken out of power. That's why the scriptures made a conscious effort to mention the dragon whose deadly wound was healed, because that was a phenomenon. That never happens. Once you fall out of power, that's it. But the Lord, pursuing the prophecy, right? He raised this man back up so that prophecy might be fulfilled. But it's a rare thing. It's not known for a man to return from the grave, which parabolically means once you fall out of power, it's hard to come back into power. All right, go ahead.
It says, for we are born at all adventure, and we shall be hereafter as though we had never been.
Yeah.
For the breath.
Yeah, and we understand. So we know that's going to be in the kingdom. But the Lord, when the Lord overthrew this man, it's not going to be any memories. The Lord said he's going to cut off nephew, all right, and son. All right, it's not going to be Esau making a reoccurrence. Pretty much after 1,000 years, the Lord is going to do away with this devil. Go ahead.
It says, for the breath in our nostrils is as smoke and a little spark in the movement of our heart. It says, which being extinguished, our body shall be turned into ashes, and our spirit shall vanish as the soft air.
Yep, and their body being turned into ashes is the climax of this story. All right? Pretty much when the Lord violently overthrew America by destroying Babylon the Great. That's what it means when it's our bodies turned into ashes. But the point is, these devils, they understand clearly that they have but a short time. Why? Because they actually believe the report. They actually heard the report. So now what you're witnessing in the form of this rhetoric going out through Esau's media, that's nothing more than these draconian laws. That's this man coming up against prophecy. This man being a resistor, being contrary and being the adversary that he is. That's what we're going to touch on in this live stream. All right? Which, if you will, Baba Kasha, let's go to Jeremiah, the 5th chapter.
This book of Jeremiah.
Because everything is an effort. Everything you see this devil do is all an effort for the birthright.
Yeah, this is the book of Jeremiah 5:22. It said, fear ye not me, said the Lord. Will ye not tremble at my presence, which have placed the sand for the bound of the sea?
Right. So the Lord placed the sand for the bound of the sea. All right, the sea being the people, the different nations in particular. And the Lord placed that sand as a measurement, a gauge, in which your respective time to rule, you can't pass over. All right, and we opened up with that in the book of First Ezra. This time that Esau was given to reign and rule, it was numbered, it was measured. Okay, now we at the end of this rule, and you see what this devil is trying to resist it. Once again, he's been adverse to the will of Yahweh Shah. And that's why this thing is not going to be a smooth transition. That's why the scripture speaks about how with much tribulation, we shall enter into the kingdom. You know? Did you want to make a point out?
No, you got it.
Yeah, you continue.
Con, it says, will ye not tremble at my presence, which have placed the sand for the bound of the sea, by perpetual decree, that it cannot pass it?
Right, and what's that perpetual decree? The prophecies, man. All right, it's written that, matter of fact, Baba Kashar, go to 2nd Ezra, the 6th chapter up, and start around the 7th verse. Because it's well documented, it's decreed. The Lord has spoken concerning who would rule in that perpetual state. That's the fight, that's the struggle, man. Which, by the way, when you go into that struggle in the womb, you go into that word struggle, it means to oppress, pretty much to have dominion over another. Okay? So this thing all boils down to power. Okay? Go ahead.
2nd Ezra 6 and 7. Then answered I and said, where shall be the parting asunder of the times?
There go that word time again. That's Esau's biggest enemy, man. Because why? Time actually goes hand in hand with prophecy. Can you give me that real quick? What's that? I want to say time and judgment.
Yeah, Con. Let's see.
Pull that up real quick. All right, the biggest threat, the biggest enemy of Esau is time. This man is in a race against time. But guess what? Time actually, it goes hand in hand with the prophecies, man. Okay?
Let's see.
That's why when you read, for an example, 1 Thessalonians, the 5th chapter, it speaks about those who know what time and season they're in. All right? So times and seasons go hand in hand with prophecy, and in particular, the removal of kingdoms. Daniel, the 2nd chapter and the 20th and 21st verse. All right? Where the Lord said he changes the times and seasons, he removeth kings and setteth up kings. So this transition of power has everything to do with biblical prophecy. All right? And Esau's reaction, you know, this man in this desperate mode, is a testament of that. All right, go ahead.
Con, yeah, this is that I'm looking for. I'm trying to find that.
You know what? Don't worry about it. I can get it for you. If you can't find it, we can just go back to that.
Yeah, I got it. It's like, yeah, this is Ecclesiastes 8 and 6. It says, because to every purpose there is time and judgment.
Oh, see that? Because to every purpose, right? Hey, Esau scrambling, Esau, presenting his draconian laws to you. You start to hear this word mandate being thrown around more. It's a purpose for that. It's a purpose for that. You know, it's a reasoning behind the things that's taking place here on the planet Earth, man.
Yep.
All right? Read it again, huh?
Nah, this Ecclesiastes 8 and 6, it says, because to every purpose there is time and judgment.
See that? Go ahead.
Therefore, the misery of man is great upon him.
See that? So, hey, and you know what's heavy? That word misery is in the same breath with the end times. That's in the book of 2nd Ezra, the 8th chapter, right? So, the misery of Esau is at an all-time high. The scriptures tell you how this man would be in straits, and Lord willing, we'll get that too. All right?
I got something
real quick. Something?
Yeah, that word misery, and it says bad, evil, disagreeable. It says
it's a disagreeable.
Disagreeable.
Well, hey, is not that being adverse? Is not that being contrary? See? Yeah, go ahead.
It says, sad, unkind. It says bad, evil, wicked, ethically.
Oh man.
It says in general, a person of thoughts.
Yeah, kind.
I just make
Hey,
quick
so
point.
really Esau is being hunted. Oh, you making a point? Huh?
It's like, yeah, just going back. You know, he's in straits. His thoughts is miserable. Like you said, he feeling walls closing in on him. You know, so that's why you see this nigga by the way of a temper tantrum, by the way of him passing these draconian laws, showing forth his teeth by the way of the military. You know, that just further prove that his thoughts are now playing out. That this nigga miserable. He's leaning on the sword now. You know, you got it all out.
Hey, a hit dog will bark.
That's it.
A hit dog will bark, man. Motherfuckers start reading off charges. In the one in the room that starts squirming and sweating, that's him. You know?
That's it.
Yeah, you have more of a definition?
That was pretty. Oh, matter of fact, yeah, he go to Strong's. It says wickedness, trouble, affliction. It says adversity.
Oh, adversity, man. Hey, the title of the lesson, adversity. So pretty much the spirit of Yahweh Shem outside is rising up against Esau. You know, this is nothing more than Genesis, the 4th chapter, and the continuation of it. You know, how the earth rose up against Esau. He's pretty much a vagabond in the earth. He's a fugitive. So right now, justice is on his heels. That's why this man is scrambling. He's tearing up shit. He burning receipts and shit and hiding ski masks and shit up under the bed. You know? Why? Because the spirit of justice is on his heels. And that's why you see, we got the luxury. See, that's why this doctrine, in particular, the doctrine of our Lord Yahweh Shai, the true, proper knowledge, wisdom, and understanding of the scriptures, it creates comfort. Because we know the answers. You know? We know why these devils is in desperation mode and setting up these different stations, and it's all under the banner of having you maxed out. That's this man moving into the next phase of trying to establish his new world order, man. Which is nothing more than a feeble attempt to somehow offset the prophecy. All right. So yeah, let's go back to the 2nd Ezra 6 again.
Yep, this is the book of back 2nd Ezra 6 and 7. It said, then answered I and said, what shall be the parting asunder of the times? Or when shall be the end of the first in the beginning of it that followeth?
Yep, continue up.
It says, and he said unto me, from Abraham unto Isaac, when Jacob and Esau were born of him, Jacob
so you see, that's the storyline. Yep. It didn't change. You know, this is a continuation of that struggle in the womb. You know, that's why the scriptures made an honorable mention of Jacob and Esau. You know what else too? What's fascinating when you think about the Lord and him having a favorite, you know, so you can understand. When you read the book of Malachi, the 1st chapter, the Lord himself stepped in and made mention of that same story. He said, look, Jacob have I loved, Esau have I hated, man. Even the Lord himself made a conscious effort to rekindle your memory, if you will, concerning that story. See? So this is nothing more than the season, pretty much where Esau is going to rise up against his brother again. Because when you read Genesis, the 27th chapter, right, it's actually concerning this time as well. When that man said in his heart he would slay his brother Jacob. But that's the time we're in. This man pulled out every sword he got from the big missiles and all the way down to the needles. Go ahead.
It says, when it says, and he said unto me, when from Abraham unto Isaac, when Jacob and Esau were born of him, Jacob's hand held first the heel of Esau.
Yep, go ahead.
For Esau is the end of the world, and Jacob is the beginning of it that followeth.
See that? So Esau is synonymous with the end, which has everything to do with time and judgment. And this is what's contributing to the misery of Esau. That heavy spirit of unease. Okay? This man is creating these different storylines through his media, and it's laughable now. But we know why. Because this man is in desperation mode. And you know the worst, you catch a motherfucker, right? And you know, they try to be cool and shit. If you catch them getting choked out and strangled and fight for their life, they're gonna let it all hang out, man. They're gonna be reaching and clawing, and they're not gonna be trying to act cool under pressure in that day. So that's what you're witnessing with Esau. This man can feel, you know, he's being hunted by the ghosts of Yahweh Shah, man. All right, go ahead, let's go back to Jeremiah 5.
Yep, this book Jeremiah chapter 5 and verse 22. It says, "Fear ye not me, saith the Lord. Will ye not tremble at my presence, which have placed the sand for the bound of the sea, by perpetual decree, that it cannot pass?" It says, "And though the waves thereof toss themselves."
Yeah, and that's what you're witnessing right now. The waves is symbolic to Esau. Let's prove that those waves is Esau.
Yep, this is the book of Psalms 124, and I started at verse 4. It says, "Then the waters had overwhelmed us, the stream had gone over our soul, then the proud waters had gone over our soul."
Yep, the proud waters have gone over our souls. Now, also, when you read in the book of Job, the 38th chapter, it tells you about the proud waves. So that word proud, which we know goes hand in hand with Esau, that's pretty much interchangeable with so-called white man. That's a part of his makeup. It's woven in his very fabric, man. All right? So that word proud, we all know, it actually goes hand in hand with the so-called white man. But you see right there, the word waves or flood is also in the same breath with that word proud, which another scripture comes to mind is Isaiah 59th chapter, which we fast approaching. All right? This man is strategically setting up. Esau is coming, man. And you got certain brothers out there, you know, who power was out, you know, and even around the world, you have millions of people with power outages. Well, we know that that goes back directly to Esau's military strategy, man. Okay? So the stage is being set for the darkest time in history. Literally. Go ahead,
This back Jeremiah 5 and 22 said, "And though the waves thereof toss themselves, yet can they not prevail."
Yeah, so although you tossing and turning, you creating all this ruckus, you stirring things up through your media, you have created this very heavy spirit of panic on the planet Earth. This illusion of fear have seeped into the minds of you people out there. Well, that's nothing more than Esau tossing and turning, man. See, read that part again, huh?
It says, "And though the waves thereof toss themselves, yet can they not prevail."
See that? Yet can they not prevail? And I'm tempted to look up that word. Matter of fact, look it up real quick, huh? You know, it's equivalent to you taking a damn pig to the slaughter. What's going to happen? That pig gonna start squealing and tossing and turning, trying to run, trying to get away.
Yep.
See that? So you're witnessing nothing more than the desperation of Esau, man. Because if you people don't believe the report, guess who believes it? The so-called white man himself, man. You got it, huh?
Just that word prevail. It says to prevail, to overcome. It says have power, be able.
Ooh. Oh, say that again, huh?
It says be able.
Say that's like it.
Oh, be able.
Oh, be able, con.
Yep. It says
word power was there, right?
Yep. Oh, have power. Yep, Khan.
Have power.
Yep.
That's what this is all about. This man is scratching and clawing to remain in the power seat. See that? That's why, again, the overtone of the ministry of our Lord Yahweh Shai, the doctrine of the Heavenly Father through His Son, is the kingdom of heaven, man. This is only for those who have ruling class mentality. See that? That's why Esau's showing you that. See, we telling you that, and Esau's showing you. Esau exhausting everything you got to stand on top. And eventually he's gonna come in with that sword. Go ahead,
Khan, it says be able to gain or accomplish. It says be able to reach.
Woo!
Prevail over or against.
Hey, it ties into the lesson, man. You know, the adversary. To be an adversary is to be contrary, to come up against whatever presence, you know, before you, man. See, the spirit of Yahweh Shai is overwhelming this devil. It's not like he can say, well, I'm going to ignore it. No, he can't do nothing but react to it. So that's why you see that resistance. Go ahead,
I got a precept real quick. This Job 9:4. It says, he is wise in heart and mighty in strength, who have hardened himself against him and have prospered.
Woo! Hey, come on, man. So who you know that's gonna their plan is gonna offset Yahweh Shai plan? You know? So Esau, which when you read, that's beautiful when you read Romans the 9th chapter, where it talks about how Pharaoh's heart was hardened. That's really going into Esau this time around. So yeah, you got it up.
It says to overcome, be victor. It says to have ability, have strength.
Yep,
so that was it on
that. Which goes back into power, goes back into rulership. That's why we read Isaiah the 24th chapter. It tells you how this man will begin to languish. When you go into that word language, it means to droop. You know, meaning he's lost all strength. So that's what he's trying to regain, that strength. You know, he's trying to rekindle that fire that he once had. Okay? So yeah, you can go back.
Back Jeremiah 5:22, it says, and though the ways thereof toss themselves, yet can they not yet can they not prevail. It says, though they roar, yet can they not pass over it.
See, yet they roar, right? And how is this man roaring? Through his media. Okay? This man is pushing forth that rhetoric, and that's prompting him to start sending forth these legislations and different regulations, which again goes back to his draconian laws. And like the analogy we made, if you take a pig to slaughter, he's going to begin to squeal. You know, he's not going to go quietly, man. A bear, you know, if a bear feels threat, he's going to roar. So that's what Esau is doing. He's roaring. And it's out of that instinct to live, the instinct of survival. He know that this means his very life. This man knows if these prophecies come to pass, which they are, he know that means his very life, man. Okay? Matter of fact, you got something else? We not look up the word roar.
Yeah, I got that on that too,
Con, that's good. Yep, go ahead.
This Job 4:10. It said the roaring of the lion and the voice of the fierce lion and the teeth of the young lions are broken.
Woo! See that? The roaring of the lion, man. And that represents power. Okay? So that lion dealing with Esau, he's roaring. Have you got that word roar?
This that word roar. It says to murmur, to growl.
Hey, and can I say real quick, when you murmur, matter of fact, click on that word murmur.
Let's see. This word murmur, it says whisper to mumble.
Yeah, because really, when you whisper and when you mumble, you're not being straightforward. You know, first and foremost, you're talking behind someone back. You upbraiding someone, and that goes into the meetings. But when you whisper, when you murmur, you utter something. Then pretty much you don't want nobody to get it. Pretty much, you don't really know. You don't want them to know the true intent.
Yep.
Yep. Go ahead.
All right, I had to get the Google definition. It says say something in a low, soft, or indistinct voice.
Yeah.
It says let's see. Say something cautiously and discreetly.
Yep.
In similar words, it says to complain.
Yeah, Hey, well, that's pretty much this devil fulfilling Genesis the 27th chapter where he wept bitterly.
Mm-hmm.
That's a form of weeping bitterly. Right now, this devil is weeping bitterly, man. He's not willing to take an L, and as far as accountability, he's not willing to step up to the plate. That's all the signs of one that's adverse, a resistor. See that? Yeah, go ahead.
It says to whine. and another one.
Hey, that's him weeping bitterly, man.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, go ahead.
You're pretty much it on that word.
Okay, kind. So yeah,
it's some more on this roar. It says rage.
Woo! Well, that's going into the Ralph, man. We're in the beginning stages of this man waging war against you so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans. Yeah, go ahead.
It says be troubled.
Woo! Yeah, he's being troubled. This man being troubled with terrible fear. And that trouble is, what you gonna say?
Like, just make a quick point. That was, certain animals, they damn bark is bigger than they bite. They crying, they trying to scare you, but they really scared.
Yeah,
You see with this man with his draconian laws. Yep.
Yeah, that's a defense mechanism. For animals, they'll bark or they'll give you a certain look to try to run you off. Yeah, you got it out.
Yep, it says be in an uproar. It says to be in a stir.
Yeah, so everything's stirred up. You got it.
No, you got it.
No, like I was mentioning earlier, everything's stirred up. This is a swarm of activity that you see. I mean, people not really paying attention, but if you take a step back and just evaluate things, how they've been going for the last couple of years, give or take 5, 6 years ago, 10 years maybe, there's been more news going out than ever. It's almost like you're desensitized. You can hear a story that would have sent shockwaves, a while back for a long period of time. But now you hear something, then you just move on to the next. Remember, like Kobe Bryant? Man, they forgot about that nigga. Everybody forgot about Kobe Bryant 72 hours, man. Because there was all kind of other shit going on. Yep. So that's that stirring up. Everything is being stirred up. That pot is being stirred up, man. Yep, go ahead.
Con. It says to be in a stir, be in a commotion.
Yeah.
It says to be boisterous, to be turbulent.
Yep. Proving that this won't be a smooth transition whatsoever. This is going to be a rocky transition. There's going to be a lot of turbulence. See?
Yep.
Yep. You got more on
that? I think that was it on that. I think that was it on that. Jeremiah. Yeah.
Okay, Con. So give me Jeremiah the 15th chapter. Start at like the 28th verse, or if you got anything, I know you can get a lot out of this chapter if you want, but start at like the 29th verse. But if it's something that any other meat you want to get, you can jump around.
Oh, it's about Jeremiah 5.
I said Joel. Salaki, Joel.
Oh, Joel. Okay, Con. Okay.
Salaki, my bad. What I said, Jeremiah?
Yeah, Con. Joel 15.
Good.
This is Joel 15. And I start at 20.
Okay, come.
It says, the wicked man travaileth with pain all his days, in the number of years.
And you notice with Esau, and we can pull up the stats. Esau was in war out of 229 years. Esau has been in war 223 years. I think that was roughly 93% of the time with this man being in power, he was in war. So that shows you right there that this man is in travail. He's tossing and turning, man. All the days of his life, meaning his whole rulership, 229 years when he was, at his peak, if you will, he was occupied with war. Read that again, huh?
God, it says, the wicked man travaileth with pain all his days.
Yeah. The man been at war all his days. Travailing with pain. Casualties and shit. Yeah, that's that what comes with the sword.
That's it.
See, I'm gonna tell you, who you overlooked in that story? The one who gave him the sword. See, that's what's heavy. The one who gave him the sword. It was Isaac. It was Yahushua he received. Because he's willing. He said, I know what to do for you. You know what I mean? So, just like the Twilight Zone.
Oh yeah. I'm gonna tell you what you need. I'm gonna tell you what I need.
Yeah. Hey, would do not the scriptures. Matter of fact, real quick, give me Job 12 and 7, I believe. Is it 12 and 7 or 12 and 9, I believe?
Yeah, this Job 12 and this Job 12 and 9. It said, who knoweth not in all these that the hand
go to the 7 verse out there.
Okay, Job 12 and 7, it said, but as now the beasts, and they shall tease thee.
Right, real quick. The reason why I went to that precept is because the Lord gives every creature what they need, or what's going to be centered around their environment or their living condition, their habitat. That's why, like, a damn fish got scales and shit. He was given what was needed to actually thrive in his habitat. So Esau, his habitat is war. He can't even get around it. That's why the Lord said, look to the beast of the field. I'm going to give you, that's a part of Esau's makeup. The sword, see? So yeah, if you had any more, then you can finish it off, we can go back.
God, it says, as now the beasts, and they shall teach thee, and the fowls of the air, and they shall tell thee.
Yeah.
God, we can go back to Job.
God, you can go back.
All right, Job 15 and 20, it said, the wicked man travaileth with pain all his days, and the number of years is hidden to the oppressor.
Yeah.
It says, a dreadful sound is in his ears.
Right, and that dreadful sound that's in his ears is the prophecies. Okay? That's why you see all these regulations. You got restrictions, more and more restrictions concerning what you can push you know, in relation to your platform, whether you have a YouTube channel, or you're a talk show host, a radio show host. All right, the crunch, this devil's putting a squeeze in, man. Why? Because the truth going forth is dreadful in his ear. Yeah, you got it right.
It says, a dreadful sound is in his ears, in prosperity the destroyer shall come upon him.
Mm-hmm.
He believeth not that he shall return out of darkness, and he is waited for the sword.
Yeah, you can expound more on that.
Oh, yeah. So, hey, so that was, like you said, that's his destiny, man. He's waiting for the sword, man. You know, but it said just going back, that prosperity, the destroyer shall come. Who is that destroyer? The same one that was in Egypt. You know, Yahweh Shai, and it said in his prosperity and in his height, because the Lord took all these kingdoms out at that peak, man. You know, so this is the height of pride. This is the height of Esau. You know, and this is what the Lord's going to overthrow him, man. You know, that's why I said they ain't gonna come into their perfection. They're not gonna fully, you know, get this thing started. But this is their height right here, man. You know, I'm gonna jump down to verse 25. It says, "For he stretched out his hand against the Most High." And that's you got it up.
Oh no, go ahead. You got it.
Yeah, they say that's the adversary, man. That's his makeup is to go against Yahweh by Shema. The Lord set him up that way. Matter of fact, I got a precept because you know it tells you that the deceived and the deceiver are heels, man. You know, so the Lord he created, you know, the right hand and the left, and the left is contrary to the right. You know, so this is 2 Thessalonians 2 and verse 3. It said, "Let no man deceive you by any means." And we already know that Yahweh Shema is the one, but they let you know the Lord. He set up it was lying prophets, man. You know, but that was on his left hand side. So Esau is just the left hand of this movement, man. You know, but it said, "Let no man deceive you by any means, for that day shall not come, except they come on falling away first, and that man of sin be revealed, the son of perdition." And the son, that man of sin is Esau Edom. And what is sin? Transgression of the law, meaning what? Total opposite of what Yahweh Shema shall say. So this man is adverse on all levels. So ultimately, when the Lord come and even, you know, when he cracked the clouds, this nigga is actually going to try to fight against the Lord. So he fighting against the Lord on all levels, man. Always, you know, even by the way of, you know, these different laws and legislation that being passed, he pretty much, it tells you that he cast away instructions, man. You know, but he's that man of sin. He's the source of sin. He accommodate your sin. You want to be a homo? He can you know give you money.
Make it happen for you.
Yeah, that's it. Yep, that's it. It says
this motherfucker got a website out there for you, man.
Sick, man.
Yeah, go ahead.
Verse 4, it said, "Who opposeth and exalted himself above all that is called the Most High."
Right. He opposes. Okay, to oppose means to be contrary, to war against, to resist. All right? Which, you got it out. You want to go into that word oppose?
Yeah, I got that word oppose. And it says, this that word oppose.
Which, when you go into this word, it's like you out. Once you go into this word, you're going to see where this word oppose goes directly back to Esau. It goes all the way back to the so-called white. When you go into this word oppose and you dig into it proves that this is concerning the so-called white man. All right, go ahead.
So just that word oppose, it says to be set over against. It says opposite to.
Opposite to.
It says be adverse to withstand.
Oh, he's withstanding. You know, the will of Yahweh Shema. He's that resisting force. That's why for an example, all the way down to a micro level, if you will, you know, in the sense of us being hand in hand, combat, face to face, you know, hands on with people in the streets. Well, those who come up against us, actually, it goes all the way back to Esau.
Mm-hmm.
He's responsible for whatever doctrine that these motherfuckers subscribe to, whatever was set up to keep you from coming in to this truth. The Lord used Esau to cloud your judgment. That's why this place is known as, you know, the valley of the shadow of death, right? This is the time where gross darkness will lay hold of the planet Earth, which that gross darkness symbolizes the misinformation that's on display, which is ultimately anything that's adverse to the words of Yahweh Shema Shah. Yep, you got it out.
Con. So this that word, slacking. There's another word, the word contrary. And I got this in the Google definition, the word contrary, and it says opposite in nature, direction, or meaning.
Yeah, opposite in nature. Okay, this man, Esau, his natural habitat, man. Hey, matter of fact, give me Ephesians the 5th chapter, man. You have to blush when you mention some of the shit that Esau into, man. Meaning this man is opposite in nature. His very being, his very existence is a testament of being adverse to righteousness. You know, the fact that even in the physical, this nigga is leopard, man. You know? And the mere fact that his diet, his instinct, if you was to throw a bloody piece of meat out in front of him or a cooked piece of meat, his instincts, he's gonna go for the bloody piece of meat. See that? So this nigga is opposite by nature, man. There's nothing he can do. He can't be rehabilitated. He was set up, he was designed to come up against Yahweh Shema Shah. Go ahead,
Con, this is Ephesians 5:11. And have no fellowship with the unfruitful works of darkness, but rather reprove them. For it is a shame even to speak of those things which are done of them in secret.
Yeah, so it's a shame to even mention the things that these devils do in secret, man. You know, these secret rituals, all right, these different sacrifices, the Bohemian groves, all right? So you know, these devils by nature is opposite of Yahweh Shema Shah. Okay, hey, for an example, again, Job the 12th chapter, consider the beasts of the field. They'll teach you. It's certain animals that eat certain things that will make you cringe. But that was the way they was designed. You can't try to take that animal and make them, you try to take a goddamn animal and make them sit at the table and that what Esau do. Esau take a damn monkey and try to make him a pet, you know, teach him etiquette, and the monkey rip his fucking nose off. But, you know what I mean? It's certain animals, they move a certain way. They was designed to be that way. So that's the same with the so-called white man. He was designed by nature. This man is an opposing force by nature. Yeah, go ahead.
Con. It says, this is the second definition. It said, in his word contrary, it says perversely inclined to disagree or to do the opposite of what is expected or desired.
Hold up, read that again.
It says to perversely inclined to disagree.
Okay, it says to perversely, all right, that means you turn away, you just turn away, all right, to decline, to disagree, go ahead.
Or to do the opposite of what is expected or desired.
Yeah, case in point, Leviticus the 20th chapter and the 13th verse, where it tells you if man lied with mankind as he lied with a woman, they have both committed an abomination and they shall surely be put to death. See? So what the so-called white man do, turn right around and set up laws contrary to that. And he went as far as not celebrating, you know, homosexuals and trannies or what have you. He went as far as protecting them, you know? So if you come up against them, then there's a penalty, all right? Well, hold up. The scripture said that you should put them to death. You're not only going against the scripture, you say, you know, we're going to protect them. You know, so that proves right there that this man is adverse. Go ahead up.
Con, it's this is some of the similar words. It says perverse, awkward.
Oh, what?
Awkward.
Awkward, man. See, the Lord broke this man all the way down to a science, all the way down, you know, he's broken down. All the evidence point towards Esau on all levels. So even for all of you out there that don't believe, even if you don't believe the report from the aspect of the scriptures, what we just showed you, where the word goes back to awkward. Now, you can't tell me Esau ain't awkward, man. All right, this nigga bop up with a Starbucks cup. All right, you put this nigga, turn on some music. You know?
Elon.
This nigga awkward. Hey, matter of fact, look up that word awkward, huh?
Yeah, Con, this that word awkward. It says deliberately unreasonable or uncooperative.
Hey, that even gives more credence to the subject matter, man. The adversary, because you know this man, he doesn't comply. He do it willingly, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Read that part again.
Con, it says deliberately unreasonable or uncooperative.
Yeah, this man deliberately, you know, he's willingly being the goddamn devil, man. You know? Deliberately coming up against, you know, the will of Yahweh Shemashah. You know, that's no coincidence. It's not like Esau gave you pork out of ignorance. This thing is the devil, man. He deliberately did that shit. It's so much meat out here you can eat. This nigga found a pig and made him the delicacy, man. And not just that, lobsters, crab, or whatever is considered unlawful, man, pursuant to Leviticus 11 chapter in the dietary laws. Well, guess what? This man deliberately, this was strategic. You know, this man setting up these different hurdles for these pitfalls and snares, man. That's the cunning hunter. Yeah, you want to make a point?
Yeah, I got something for you real quick. Yeah, this is Habakkuk 2:15. Woe unto him that giveth his neighbor drink, that put his daughter to him and maketh him drink. Yep.
Yeah, these devils, they actually put the bottle, they actually gave you the bottle, got you drunk, and accuse you. Which, when you go into that word devil, that's what it really goes into. It goes into the accuser, man. And as you saw in the opening clip, that featured the very nature of an accuser. You saw how they said they were setting up these different stations where the so-called Latinos was at, man. See that? So that's Esau. All right, everything points to this man. He's been highly evaluated. Inquisition is now being made. We scrutinizing the hell out of this devil, man. Go ahead,
Con, it says, just to finish it off, it says, that puttest thy bottle to him and makest him drunken also, that thou mayest look on their nakedness.
So this man, he set the snare. He gave you the bottle to drink, then he examines you. You see? So that's what these devils have done. They have set the snares, the traps, to cause you to go off. So it goes back to that definition. Deliberately, you know, these devils are deliberately contrary, deliberately adverse.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what's going to make it even more justifiable, man. When Yahweh Shemashah overthrow this devil. And ultimately you go into captivity, man. See? Yep. So real quick, you got something?
No, I ain't got nothing.
Give me Ecclesiastes, the 8th chapter. We get ready to close up in a minute.
What you want? Ecclesiastes 8 and
start at verse 9.
All right, this is Ecclesiastes 8 and 9. It says, all this I have seen and apply my heart unto every work that is done under the sun.
And that's dealing with right here on the planet Earth. Okay? And you got to remember, this King Solomon, So although he's searching out everything, every matter, because it tells you how the Lord even came to know folly, man. You know, the Lord knows, he knows all these things, but that every work is really dealing with rulerships, man. That's dealing with systems that's erected, kingdoms, empires that's ran by these different governments and regimes. That's the works that's done under the heaven. See, read it again.
It says, all this I have seen and applied my heart unto every work that is done under the sun.
Mm-hmm.
There is a time wherein one man ruleth over another to his own hurt.
See, and that show you right there is dealing with rulership. And this applies to Esau. Okay, this man had ruled over us, but it's going to be to his own hurt. So that's why the Lord is bringing this overwhelming evidence. That's why you see that overwhelming spirit of the prophets. You know, we out on the highways and byways with signs in black and white, you know, stirring up that remembrance, bringing up those old charges on you, man. See that? Why? Because the scriptures say there's one that ruled over another man to his own hurt. So ultimately, the Lord is bringing up these charges on you, and once judgment is set, all right, once the Lord proceeds forth with the judgment, it's going to be justified. That's why this is the chronological order. We put it out there, look, you guilty on all offenses. And we're in a time now where you're going to be called out on them charges. But the penalty is you lose power. Go to Ecclesiasticus, the 10th chapter. That's the penalty. All right, the Lord, once he visits Esau, the so-called white man, is going to be an effort to overthrow him. All right? And it's going to be based upon him not honoring the law, statutes, and commandments of Yahweh Shema Shah, which is the very root of wisdom. Matter of fact, before you get that, give me, I want to say, Isaiah, the 24th chapter, and I believe the 5th verse.
Okay. This is book Isaiah, chapter 24 and 5. It said, the earth also is defiled under the inhabitants thereof, because they have transgressed the laws, changed the ordinance, broken the everlasting covenant.
See that? So by this devil being adverse, contrary, first and foremost to the law, statutes, and commandments of Yahweh Shema Shah, the earth is now defiled. See that? So it all goes back to him and his unwillingness to be in harmony with Yahweh Shema Shah. All right, that's the penalty for being adverse. Okay, go ahead.
This Ecclesiasticus Sirach 10 and 3, an unwise king destroyeth his people, but through the prudence of them which are in authority, the city shall be inhabited.
Yeah, go ahead.
The power of the earth is in the hand of the Lord.
Yeah, so the Lord has jurisdiction over who rules or not. And right now, the so-called white man being in power in the form of this current beast system, that's in the hand of the Lord. Yahweh Shema Shah fashion and shape this system that you see. Okay? The Lord is in control of whomever sits in the power seat. Go ahead.
It says, and in due time, he will set over it one that is profitable.
Right? So the Lord is going to set up one in due time. And with that word time again, that's nipping that Esau's head. The ghost of Christmas past, man. Them chains rattling, getting closer and closer. Now, if you will, like I know there's a lot of meat right there, but jump down to the 8th verse.
Ecclesiastes 10 and 8, it says, because of unrighteous dealings, injuries, and riches got by deceit, the kingdom is translated from one people to another.
So the scriptures give you the reason why that kingdom is now being translated. You know, by unjust dealings, injuries, and just riches got by deceit, which, by the way, are all offenses, you know, in relation to the law, statutes, and commandments of Yahweh Shema Shah. So that proves this man and his works. What we just read in Proverbs, it's like Ecclesiastes, the 8th chapter, where King Solomon said, consider all the works done under the heaven. All right. Well, guess what? This man's works alone testify against. It's an indictment against. They're adverse. They're against. They're contrary. They're not in harmony with Yahweh Shem Shah. So what's the point here? All this resistance that you see, what we saw in the opening clip, and you're going to see moving forward. But this man is pretty much going to show forth that desperation, man. He's going to transition into that wrath, thus fulfilling Revelation, the 12th chapter and the 12th verse. All right? Then you're going to see it. Yep. Go ahead.
Khan, it says, why is earth and ashes pride?
Oh, so I can read that again. Read that again.
Okay, Khan. This is Ecclesiastes Sirach 10 and 8. It says, because of unrighteous dealings, injuries, and riches got by deceit, the kingdom is translated from one people to another.
Yep. So again, all of those, everything that was just mentioned right there, all of those offenses, that proves that Esau is contrary. He's the adversary. He's adverse to Yahweh Shem Yahushua. And this is why the kingdom will be translated, which means the so-called white man will have to move into the next phase, of trying to establish his power structure, which will come in the form of a new world order. And how you think the bridge of that is how that's going to be bridged is going to be by way of the sword. Okay, so ultimately, this desperation is going to pretty much morph into wrath. All right, and that's going to be the fulfillment of that role of being an adversary. Like we always say, through the spirit, everything springs forth. It bubbles up. It grows.
Yep.
So this man, he's been adverse on all these different levels. Then ultimately, like you said, even when Yahweh Shah returns, this nigga's actually going to fight against Yahweh Shah. This man's going to be adverse. He's going to be a resistor all the way to the end. All right. So you got anything else up?
No, I ain't got nothing up.
Hey, so with that, I want to give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shah, Ba'ashem, Rakakadash. Double honors to our teachers, the head apostles and elders, a great millstone. Shalom, you brothers out there laboring in his work, as well as you believers, the Akim, as well as the Aqua, those of you who subscribe to the teachings of our Lord Yahweh Shah. Till the next time, Shalom.
Shalom.
DTA.
DTA. Soon.
No, you got to hit it with this. Got to cap it off.
That's it.
Shalom.
Let's see.
Got to cap it off. That's it. Shalom.